Do you want an update on my love life already?
Josh Hill, I'm arresting you on suspicion of blackmail. You don't have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court.
Tom, we're going round in circles here. We know what you've done.
Why don't you help yourself? Come clean.
I wasn't trying to hurt anyone.
You were robbing them blind, Tommy.
I was broke. I needed the cash. They were lonely. I'd listen to their problems, have a laugh with them for a bit.
You must have known they were members of St. Peter's congregation.
I went round to introduce myself as the new vicar. Everyone trusts a vicar, don't they? These people, they're housebound. They don't make it into church, so I knew they wouldn't have any reason to doubt me.
And is that why you brought into the church, to get the information?
Don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah, right. So, we get a warrant for your house, you were not going to find the parish register.
So you admit to the burglary at the church. Speak up for the tape, please.
Yes, it was me. I'd been sacked, and I borrowed some money from a bloke I met in the pub, and, well, then I couldn't pay it back. He was charging ridiculous interest.
Who's the bloke?
All I know is his name's Paul. It was him who beat me up. I took him the money I got from the old people. I even took the credit cards because I knew I didn't have enough cash, but he said they were no use to me, and, well, that's why I left him in the street.
You take the outfit from church too?
Well, I saw it there when I took the register. See, that's how I got the idea, because, you know, I really broke in looking for the money. What's going to happen?
You'll be charged, and it's down to the courts.
Can you describe your attacker, this Paul?
Why?
Well, I think he should have his day in court for what he's done to you.
Perhaps I had it coming.
Where did you disappear off to earlier? We're meant to be working on this together.
Hey, you should be thanking me. I've just been trawling around all the local pawnbrokers and second-hand shops in the area. Guess what I just found? The laptops.
You went by yourself?
Well, I only had to go to a couple of places before I struck gold. The manager of the shop described Jonathan to a T.
So Jonathan did put Rudy up to it then?
Yeah.
Okay. Pull Jonathan in. See what he's got to say for himself. You should have waited for me just now, you know. We're meant to be working on this as a team.
Why don't you chill out, DC Sim? We just got ourselves a good result. Why don't you crack a smile, eh? There it is.
I'm now showing the suspect photocopies of the blackmail letters sent to Richard Neiman. Ever seen those before, Josh?
No.
The first of these letters is postmarked March of this year. That's soon after you and Richard broke up, isn't it?
Must have been, yeah.
Now, you said that you ended this relationship.
That's right.
The thing is, the manager of Sanderson's gym didn't see it that way. He said that Richard broke it off and that you didn't take it too well.
Well, what do you expect? The guy's got it in for me. He sacked me for no good reason.
So you're denying what he told us?
Look, I'll be straight with you. Richard wasn't exactly my type. I wasn't in the relationship for romance.
What were you in it for, then?
He was good-looking and he paid for my nights out.
So he paid you for sex?
Let's just say he helped to look after me financially.
We know about your previous, Josh, the prostitution.
That was a long time ago, and I prefer to call myself a male escort now, and I only do it when I have to.
So you admit you used Richard Neiman for financial gain?
I'm not proud of it, but that's life, isn't it? Richard thought the relationship could develop into something else. When he realised that wasn't going to happen, he finished it.
We heard that after Richard stopped seeing you, you made things very unpleasant for him. He was forced to leave Sanderson's and join another gym.
All I did was make a few comments. Didn't appreciate the likes of him finishing with me, that's all. Suppose it was an ego thing. Wanted to make him regret it.
Do you know a bloke called Colin Griffiths?
Never heard of him.
You sure about that? For the benefit of the tape, DS Nixon's leaving the room. So, do you get your kicks out of intimidating people, Josh?
What's that supposed to mean?
Well, it seems to me that Richard Neiman was pretty scared of you. How far were you prepared to go to take advantage of him?
Look, I didn't blackmail him, all right? You can try and push me into a corner as much as you like, but you've got nothing on me.
I wouldn't be so sure about that. For the benefit of the tape, I'm showing the suspect photographs of Richard Neiman and Colin Griffiths found 20 minutes ago in your flat.
Seems to me you got a bit of explaining to do.
I found out Richard was married by accident one night at my place. He was in the shower, and I was a bit short of cash, so I had to look through his wallet. There was a photo
Of his wife?
of them both together.
What did you do?
Nothing. At first. Thought it was funny. Typical Richard. Didn't even have the guts to face up to who he really was.
So what happened then?
Well, it wasn't long after that we split up. Richard confronted me one night. He said he was sick and tired of having to pay my way all the time. On and on he went. I said, where'd you learn to nag like that? Was it from your wife?
How did he react?
Like he'd been slapped in the face. He told me to get out, so I did. He came to see me a few days later at Sanderson's, though, nice as pie, asking me not to mention to anybody that he was married.
And what did you say?
I told him I had better things to do than go around spreading rumours about his soap opera personal life. Wasn't long after that he changed gyms.
So when did you get the idea to blackmail him?
When I got sacked. About a month later. I was totally skint. Needs to pay my debts.
So instead of getting a job, you just had to think about who you could take advantage of?
I know what I did was wrong. I wish I hadn't done it.
Yeah, well, I bet you do now.
Go on.
I called Richard up. I said he had to pay me some money or I'll tell his wife the truth. He was furious. He said I didn't have any evidence, that he'd deny it, and then he hung up.
What did you do?
Nothing. There was nothing I could do. I had nothing to gain by telling his wife. I was just chancing my arm.
So how did the letters come about?
A few weeks later, I was in a club, and I saw him, Richard, with another bloke, Colin Griffiths. The mate told me he lived in the same building as Richard, so I've got a camera on my mobile.
So you thought you'd get the evidence you needed to blackmail him? For the benefit of the tape, Mr. Hill is nodding yes.
I called him the next day. I told him about the photos. He tried to play it cool, but it was obvious he was scared.
So did he pay up?
He told me to leave him alone. I tried calling him for the next few days, but he never answered his phone.
So you wrote to him instead?
I couldn't believe it when he made the first payment. He was obviously scared stiff.
Yeah. And you thought all your Christmases had come at once?
For a while, yeah. Kept on paying for 4 months, and it stopped.
Just out the blue?
I tried calling him again, but he still wouldn't answer his phone. So I went round to the flat. We had to stand up round the corridor. He wouldn't let me in. I threatened to tell his wife. He said if she found out, then he'd tell the police.
Then what happened?
Nothing. That was it. He called my bluff.
What, you expect us to believe that you just walked away? From your little golden goose?
It's the truth. There was nothing I could do about it. It was over.
Cheers, Rob. What are you trying to do? Get me fired? That's twice today I've had coppers turning up at my work.
Before you get too smart, Jonathan, I just thought I'd let you know that I spent the afternoon looking around pawnbrokers and second-hand shops in the area.
Find some good bargains, did you?
I think you know what I found.
How could you let Rudy take the blame for this on his own? Jonathan?
You sat in this room a couple of hours ago, listening to me ask your brother where them laptops were. All the time you knew they were sitting in a second-hand shop in Candy High Street. You knew that because you just sold them to him.
I mean, that's where you were when we called round to speak to Rudy. Isn't that right? You were busy selling them on already.
Yeah, well, I had to help him out, didn't I, once he nicked him? I mean, he's me brother.
Oh, right, so it was your brother's idea to steal from the school, eh? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Leaving one at the flat wasn't too bright, was it?
Rudy took it out of the bag to play games. I didn't even realise till I got down the shops to flog him. Look, the only reason I let Rudy take the rap, well, because I thought we'd get off more lightly. If I go down for this, who will look after him, eh? He's got nobody else.
Should have thought about that before you told him to steal the laptops.
Yeah, well, we didn't have much choice, did we? We're skint.